And now they were getting closer and closer to the volcano. They were getting closer and closer to the volcano to destroy the ring. Now, Saruman, the white wizard, he looked inside his crystal ball and he saw that Frodo and all of them were getting closer to the volcano. And he got very angry. He said, I don't want them to destroy the ring. I want that ring for myself so I can rule the world. So then the Saruman, he started to make an army of orcs. Does anybody know what orcs are?
No. Yeah.
Orcs are very, very strong, scary monsters. And the only way that Saruman could make the orcs is he had to cut down a lot of trees and make a big, big fire. So he kept on cutting down trees and cutting down trees, and so that the fire got bigger and bigger, and those orcs came out of the fire. Now once he had hundreds and hundreds of orcs, he said, go and find Frodo and kill them all and bring the ring back to me. So then Frodo and Aragorn and Sam and Boromir and Gimli and Legolas, they were all going, but they didn't know that this army of orcs was coming after them, and it was getting closer and closer until one day it was too late and the orcs came and surrounded Frodo and his friends. When Aragorn saw the orcs, he said, everybody get your swords out. It's time to fight. Now there was hundreds of orcs, and Frodo did not have too many of his friends. So the orcs started to beat everybody. Now when Frodo started to run and he was hiding, and Boromir followed Frodo. Now Boromir was a man, and he came to Frodo and he said, Frodo, we are going to lose. All these orcs are coming and they're going to kill us and they're going to take the ring. The only thing we can do now is you have to give me the ring. Because if you give me the ring, then I will have the power to beat these orcs. Then Frodo said, no, Boromir, I cannot do it. Because if I give you the ring, then you will become evil too. And that is not good. Because your heart is not strong. Then Boromir said, but Frodo, that is the only way. Please give me the ring. Frodo ran away from Boromir, and Boromir was just about to catch Frodo and trying to take the ring when one of the orcs shot Boromir right in the heart. Bang. Now Boromir went down, and while he was going down, he said, Frodo, please, sorry, I did not want to do it this way. Please forgive me. And Frodo said, I forgive you, Boromir. I know you were only trying to help. And Boromir Marge, he died. Now Frodo, he ran and ran away from there, and he found a small river, and next to the river there was a boat. So then he decided the best thing to do was to leave his friends, because as long as Frodo and the ring were with the friends, those orcs would be trying to kill all of them. But if Frodo went by himself, maybe he could get the orcs away from his friends. So quietly he got into the boat, and without telling anybody, he pushed the boat into the river, and he started to float away by himself. Just then, his fat friend Sam, the one with the chubby cheeks, he ran to the river. He said, "Frodo, Master Frodo, where are you going by yourself?" Then Frodo yelled back. He said, "Sam, I'm sorry. You stay there. You cannot follow me. I have to go to destroy the ring by myself." Then Sam said, "Frodo, I am your best friend, and I promised you that I will always stay with you, and that is what I'm going to do." Then Sam, he just started to walk on the water, but he did not know how to swim. He just tried to walk to Frodo, and he then slipped and he started to sink down, down, down into the water in the river. He could not breathe. The water was going in his mouth and in his nose, and he was not able to breathe. He was going, and he was sinking down, down, down. Then finally, Frodo put his hand in the river and pulled Sam up and put him in the boat. Then Sam opened his eyes, and Sam said, "Frodo, you don't ever do that to me again. We will do this together. I am your best friend, and I will never leave you, ever." So then Frodo gave him a hug, and he said, "It is the best thing in the world to have a friend like you, and we will do it together, you and me, Sam." And they floated away. Now, as they floated away, the others, Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli, they were left there by themselves, and they fought so hard that they chased those orcs away. But then when they looked for Frodo and Sam, they could not find him. They saw that Boromir had died, and they got very sad about that. Then they said, "Well, maybe the orcs captured Frodo and Sam and took the ring." They were so sad. They said, "We have failed. We are losers. We lost the ring, and we lost Frodo too." And they just were so sad. And then they just started to walk home. Now there's going to be two stories. One story is about what's going to happen to Sam and Frodo as they get closer to the volcano. But there's a second story that is happening, and that is what is happening with Aragorn and Legolas and Gimli. Because those two friends, now they have gone separate ways. So do you want to hear about what happened to Frodo, or you want to hear about what happened to Aragorn? Both? Okay, I will start with Aragorn, because you have not heard that one before, Uma. So when Aragorn and Legolas and Gimli started to walk back home, they got lost in a giant forest that was dark and scary, with lots of wild animals. Now, when they were lost in this forest, they were getting so scared, but all of a sudden, a giant tree came and picked them up. Then that giant tree held them, and said, "What are you doing in my forest? I don't like people in my forest." Then Aragorn said, "What are you? You look like a giant tree." Then the tree said, "I am a giant tree. I am a very old giant tree. I have been here longer than any of you have been alive. And I am an ant, that is what I'm called. And I am one of the oldest giant tree ants in the world." Then Aragorn said, "Why don't you like people?" The ant said, "Because people come with their axes and they try to chop down the trees all the time. And they come with fire and they try to burn us. So we don't like people." Then Aragorn said, "Well, we're sorry, but we are not here to hurt you." Then the ant said, "But there is somebody very, very bad who is always coming to our forest and chopping us down. And pretty soon there won't be any of us left." Then Aragorn said, "Who is that person that's always coming to chop you down? What does he look like?" Then the ant said, "He's a wizard, and he always wears white. He's a white wizard. He's always coming and chopping us down." Aragorn said, "That is Saruman, the white wizard. He is using all your trees to burn and make his army of orcs." So the ant, the old tree, said, "What can you do to help me kill this white wizard? Because I hate him. He is killing all my friends, all of the trees." Then Aragorn said, "I don't know, because the only person that can beat that white wizard was Gandalf. He is another wizard that is very good, but he died a long time ago in the cave when the Balrog killed him." Then the ant said, "No, Gandalf is alive. He lives in the forest with me." When Legolas and Gimli and Aragorn heard that, they said, "What? Gandalf is alive?" "Yes," said the tree. "Gandalf, he's called Gandalf the Rainbow." Then Aragorn was very confused. He said, No, he's Gandalf the Grey. He's not Gandalf the Rainbow." Then the ant said, "No, his name is Gandalf the Rainbow because he only wears a clothes made of rainbow." Then Aragorn said, "Show me where he's staying." So the ant took him, and then they saw an old wizard with a pointy hat and a white beard. And as they got closer, they saw that he was all wearing clothes that looked just like a rainbow. It was Gandalf. Now Aragorn said, "Gandalf, we thought you died and the Balrog killed you. How come you're here? And how come your clothes have changed to rainbow?" Then Gandalf said, "Aragorn, what happened was the Balrog pulled me into a deep, dark cave. And we fell down, 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 down. We fell so far down that we were in the middle of the earth. And then the Balrog and I started to fight. And we fought for many, many days until finally I killed him. And ever since I killed him, my clothes have changed. And my clothes have become rainbow. And now I am no longer Gandalf the Grey. I am Gandalf rainbow. Then he said, now that I am a rainbow, I can kill Saruman. Now Aragorn and the ant, that tree, and Gandalf started to walk to Saruman's palace. The ant was very, very mad at Saruman because Saruman had killed so many of his friends. When they got to Saruman's palace, Saruman saw them and he got so scared. And he said to his army of orcs, go and kill them before they reach me. So the army of orcs started to fight Gandalf and Aragorn and the ants. Now there were so many orcs that they started to win. But what happened was the ant, that giant tree, saved everybody. Because what he did is he called out to all of his other friends, the trees. And all the trees started to walk. And they started to walk, hundreds of them. And they started to come to Saruman's palace. And there were so many walking trees. And they started to kill all of the orcs. And then they got to Saruman. Now it was Saruman's turn to get
beaten up.
Yes, because he was very bad. Now, while all this was happening, Frodo and Sam were still floating down the river. Now, they finally stopped near a swamp. That swamp was very gross. It had a very bad smell. And the bubbles were coming out of the mud. And they had to go through all this stinking mud to try to get near that volcano. As they were going through that mud, Sam said, Frodo, do you hear something following us? When they got still, they could hear something. It was some kind of footsteps coming closer to them. Now Frodo said, I think we should hide behind these rocks to see what is coming and following us. While they were hiding behind the rocks, all of a sudden they heard something very creepy. It sounded like this. My precious Baggins, he's a thief. Frodo Baggins is a thief. And I am going to get my birthday present back, my precious. It was Gollum. Gollum had been following them this whole time, and he was coming close. Soon as Frodo saw him, he said, Sam, it is Gollum. He's looking for his ring. Now Sam said, Frodo, we need to kill Gollum right now. Take out your sword. Now Frodo, he looked at Gollum. Now Gollum did not see Frodo yet. But Frodo looked at Gollum, and Gollum looked very weak and skinny.
Now, Mira. मेरा आप डेली स्टोरी बताएं।
Now Gollum looked very skinny and weak, and he looked so, you could see all the bones on him. And Frodo felt very sorry for him. He said, Sam, we cannot just kill him. Look at him. He's just so weak. I feel very sorry for him. And Sam said, no, Frodo. He's just trying to get the ring. He's going to kill us. Then Frodo said, Sam, he just wants the ring just like I want the ring. He is not a bad thing. He is just controlled by the ring. That is not his fault. Then Sam said, Frodo, you're making a big mistake. He is going to hurt us. And then Frodo said, okay, but we're not going to kill him. Let's just take a rope and tie him up and catch him. But we're not going to hurt him. Okay? Sam said, okay, Frodo, if that is what you want. And they jumped out and they caught Gollum and they quickly tied him up. And Gollum was shouting, stop it, leave me alone. But they tied him up tightly. Then I will tell you the rest of the story tomorrow.
More. Is the next one tomorrow going to be the final?
I don't know. There's a lot more to go.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.